It should come as no surprise that after we buried the Nuggets deep in the cold, cold ground, they now lead the series 3-2 with an excellent chance to advance. You're welcome, Denver. We will talk about a phenomenal Jamal Murray game, an incredible Nuggets performance, and a 3-2 lead, along with our 10,000 YouTube subscribers here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Being with us every day, Monday through Friday, hanging out with us, being an everydayer, being a true sicko for the Denver Nuggets. We do appreciate you guys and your support. You can catch us in any podcast app. Spotify's a great one. Go check out. You listen to music. You could also listen to us on there. You can listen to like a nice song and then listen to the Locked On Nuggets and then a nice song. It's awesome. Check it out on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating there, as well as on Apple Podcasts. You can also catch us at youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets. We passed 10K. We did it. We reached, that was our goal for this season, and we hit it, and we're very excited. Josh, 10K plus the Hurricane. The Hurricane is excellent. That's awesome. Glad to have you with us after the Nuggets take Game 5 against the Los Angeles Clippers on Tuesday night. They get the win 131-115 to take a 3-2 lead over the Clippers. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. I'm Matt Moore. I write a site called The Denver Dig. He's Ryan Blackburn. You can catch him at Mile High Sports. We will talk today about the game, about the win over the Clippers. We'll get to Game 6 in due time, but it's a good opportunity to celebrate this win. And, my thing, I was driving home thinking about across the beautiful the highways of northern Colorado, and just one highway because it's just 25 forever, is I was thinking a lot about, I went on a show with Lucas Hahn on Sunday that talks about the Clippers. And one of the things I said is I was like, the Clippers are better, but the Nuggets are tougher. Like, they're just a tougher team. And that's been the thing. And tonight definitely felt like a game where that showed up. The Nuggets made shots, just like the Clippers made shots in Game 3. If you want to equate the two, you can do that. You could be like, the Nuggets shot 52% from 3 in Game 5. The Clippers shot whatever they did in Game 3. Those two games kind of cancel each other out. Right. What I would kind of say is that after Game 4 and the exhaustion of the series through the first 4 games, Denver, with 2 days off, came home and delivered a mental sucker punch to the Clippers, where they're like, if you're going to put James Harden on Jamal, we're running you on off-ball screens, and Jamal's going to kill you that way. When you put James Harden on Joker to try and negate that action, guess what? We're going to make him play drop and play coverage in space versus Jamal Murray, and we're going to cook you that way. And they were able to get those kind of performances. Jamal was so phenomenal tonight.
So good.
Burst for him to get into space. The shot making is great, but again, I want to stress this. It didn't used to just be like Jamal would hit wild circus shots. It was like Jamal would be able to navigate space to hit fadeaway jumpers. That's his go-to. And he is getting to his spots, Ryan Blackburn, and making the shots that he wants to, and he dominated this game as the best player on the floor in a game in which Nikola Jokic honestly didn't have that great of a game.
No, it wasn't great, and the Nuggets needed somebody to set the tone tonight, and it was Jamal Murray's turn. Like that, plain and simple, it was his turn to do what was needed for this Nuggets team. You saw great moments from Nikola over the course of Game 4, from Aaron Gordon, obviously, in Game 4 and also in Game 1. And Denver has had good moments in between that, but Denver hadn't really had a Jamal Murray game. Matt, this was very clearly the Jamal Murray game, very clearly one where, and we were talking about this on the way out of the arena, like you had a Kawhi Leonard game, you had a James Harden game, you had a Nikola Jokic game, you kind of needed a Jamal Murray game. And it's just exciting to see him reaffirm that belief in him over, because I think some Nuggets fans and some folks just sort of brush him to the side at times, and he doesn't always perform up to that level at times, but tonight he was on that level. Did you know that 43 points is tied for the most in a playoff game this year for anybody? Like anybody.
Wow.
Anthony Edwards tied it, and he had a 43-point game as well. But like, that's the kind of level that we're talking about here, Matt. It's ridiculous sometimes the levels that Jamal can go to. And when you contextualize it like that, I think it's very, very important for Nuggets fans to just be appreciative that in a night where Nikola Jokic had 13 points, didn't matter because Jamal Murray was scoring enough for the both of them.
I was listening to some Clipper pods I respect on the way home, and a big commentary line was, man, we lost the game in which Jokic wasn't good.
Yeah.
They wasted the good Jokic game or the bad Jokic game. And that's really kind of killing them, I think. And I think, Murray, first off, I have to tell the story. Okay.
Oh, great.
So we're walking from the media room through the tunnel to the court to go take our seats. And we're kind of talking about like, what do you think tonight? And I was like, I don't know. I thought Clippers were going to win. And I was like, feels like Kawhi's going to have a game. And, Aaron Gordon's going to do everything that he needs to do to defend him. And he's going to hit shots and people being like, he cooked Gordon. And then Ryan just in passing says, yeah, when in actuality, like he just got the switch on Jamal and was scoring on him instead. And Jamal Murray was coming to the court right behind us as he says this. So again, you're welcome, Denver. There's a reason we call the show No Jinx. It was just a phenomenal.
Yeah, because Ryan's actually manually jinxing by actively like digging a screwdriver into Jamal Murray's like just the attitude is just immediately get started at that point. No, I mean, so the funny, he probably didn't hear any of that, but it was just very uncomfortable after you see him walk up right behind and just be like, oh, gotta love getting too comfortable at Ball Arena, huh?
I mean, look, we have done all. I don't know how much more jinxing we have left. Yeah. Like the powers have been exhausted.
I've been deep in my bag, and unfortunately deep in my bag for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Man, yeah, we'll get to another time. Ryan committed a basketball war crime against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight, as with 7 seconds left or like a minute left, they're up by 7. And Ryan says the thing that he always jokes about where he's like, I don't see any way. He does that with everything. It is for the jinx thing. And he was like, I don't see any way the Bucks blow this. Like, Ryan, what did they do to you?
The thing is nothing. They didn't do it. They've been miserable for like years, Matt. It's really unfortunate. And I felt really bad in the moment for it. But like, holy cow, lots of crazy basketball being played right now. And the Bucks are just one of those teams that's sun's getting real low on that dynasty.
Yeah, well, it comes for everyone, but it hasn't come for the Denver Nuggets yet. Coming up, we'll talk about some of the other contributions. Michael Porter Jr. being a plus 34, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, who I thought had a really fantastic game. And we'll talk about the performances from one Russell Westbrook, who stepped up big time in Game 5. We'll do that next on Locked On Nuggets. Shopping for a car should be exciting, not exhausting, but between the confusing prices and hidden fees, it can feel overwhelming. And that's why I love using CarGurus. They help you cut through the noise and show you the best deals with full confidence. With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more new and used cars than any other major online marketplace in the US. They verify dealers, provide real price analysis, and give you the tools and data you need to make the right choice without second guessing yourself. If you need a dealer that you can trust, CarGurus makes it easy to compare vehicles side by side with unbiased deal ratings. Plus, the in-depth vehicle details give you peace of mind before stepping onto any lot. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com. We're also brought to you today by WayFair. Spring is here, and that means it's home project season. We had the windows open all weekend long. It was so tremendous. And we're looking to refresh, the dining room where I do most of my work, which is basically a library that my wife has turned into. Looking to get some new bookshelves, maybe some new stuff on the other stuff, and maybe a new hutch. When you're refreshing your room or tackling your full renovation, WayFair is the best kept secret for all things home improvement. From small updates like a stylish cabinet hardware to major upgrades like new vanities, sinks, or outdoor lighting, WayFair has quality products for every budget. You're going to love that they got top brands like GE and Mullen at great prices, and the shopping is always seamless. You're going to find exactly what you need to fit your space and style. WayFair makes home improvement easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. WayFair, every style, every home. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, thanks for joining us, making us part of your day. Jamal has this game, and DTSC is not in the comments. Don't tell Santa Cruz is not in the comments. I'm very disappointed.
Just wild stuff from him, huh?
Very disappointed. Oh, shout out to Eric who came over looking for a sticker tonight, and somebody hit me up on Twitter and one too. We had a couple of folks that wanted stickers. They have been ordered. They're on their way. I don't know if they'll be here if there is a game 7 or but if there's a second round, then we should have those available for the home games for the Denver Nuggets.
David Adelman, by the way, very adamant about job not finished. There are so many things that we have to get better at. They were going on runs. There were times where we just could not stop them from scoring. So there's a lot of things for them to clean up. So he is, I think, extremely aware that the job is not finished for Denver in this series and trying to instill that for his team.
So the Nuggets won by 16. And Nikola Jokic was a plus 18, which means that in the non-Nikola minutes, they were only -2.
And by the way, you factor in the garbage time where they were -4 as a team. So, like, the actual game time, Nuggets were +2 without Nikola Jokic.
That was absolutely huge. I felt very bad for DeAndre Jordan. Just very, it's rough because I understand, he's an NBA player and he's supposed to perform. I get it. But I'm just he's got no shot. He's got no shot versus Zoo. He is not in a place physically in his career where he can do that. He does not belong in the series. Why I've been you should play Zeke. I think there's probably a place for DJ. And actually, there might be one for him. I'll have to look at it. I think there might be one next series, depending on which minutes he plays. If they get out of this round. But that was rough. But they got a boost from not only Murray scoring, but Russell Westbrook, 8 of 15, 3 of 6 from 3. 21 points. Ryan Blackburn, talk about Russell Westbrook, please.
Ryan, talk about Russell Westbrook in an extremely positive way. I don't have to struggle at that. It's pretty clear the impact that he had on this game tonight. Started off a little bit slowly, but got into the flow of the game. And then in that second quarter, he really took off. Hit back-to-back pull-up threes because why not? And he also hit an and one with Bogdan Bogdanovic on his back, crying baby. Rocking the baby. What am I saying? He's rocking the baby for that. Matt, I am so tired. So it's no, he was truly great. And I noted this yesterday. The Nuggets had 26 total minutes that they played for their bench in game 4. Russ played 26 by himself tonight. And just having somebody that can change the pace, that can give a new look, that can provide a little bit of energy, but also just competence in general. Denver's bench just has not been competent enough without Russ out there. And he has been a fantastic piece throughout this entire series, frankly. And when he's been out there and on point and doing the things that he's been asked to do, he has been tremendous at it. So credit to him, man. He has stepped up in a big way.
Shout out to Don Dropper, who does Locked On Clippers. Great show. You guys should check them out and be nice. Be nice in the comments. I said it. Be nice. Be the fans you want other fans to be. Be the change we want to see in the online world. Don's great. And he got hassled by a Clippers employee tonight when he was trying to do a post-game show in the parking lot. So that sucks. So shout out to Don for fighting through that. As he did talk about how Law Murray said Jamal didn't like Dunn being drafted over him, and it showed. Yeah, Jamal made that very evident. He mentioned it 3 times that Dunn was drafted over him. So he was very annoyed. And look, we said during the series, I said after game 1 and game 2, I said throughout the series, I was like, I'm telling you, I know what it looks like when Murray struggles. This is not Jaden McDaniels. This is not that situation. He's comfortable versus done. He's got burst. He's got separation. He's just missing shots. And everyone killed him after game 4, which they won, even though he was good in game 3, but everyone else was bad. And tonight the shots went going. His relocation stuff tonight was so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some film work on it over at the Dig. It is chef's kiss. It is so good how he manipulated space. Look, there's 2 more games max in this series. There's at least 1 more game for sure. And the Clippers can get even because we saw what happened last year when Denver went up 3-2 and then went on the road to Minnesota. Minnesota punched them in the mouth and Denver went, oh, all right, fine, we'll get you in game 7. And they almost did, but then they didn't. So like job's not done. They need to push for game 6. However, I will say, as this series has over the course of the last 2 games, I don't really know how the Nuggets have kind of solved most. I talk all year about solving problems. They've solved most of the problems that the Clippers have presented.
Yeah.
And they're no longer really caught off guard or on their heels by the Clippers. They kind of know what to expect and how to defend most of these actions and how to generate the looks that they want on the other end. And to me, that's really significant.
Can I pivot really quick? There's been a narrative out there of Jamal Murray not really showing up in the first 3 games. I don't really know where that came from personally. I thought that he was very good in pretty much
You have like
those 3 games.
I must ask you, do you have like a whiteboard where you just write down the false narratives about Jamal? So
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's something that I'm dealing with in the comments on Pickaxe all the time. And like people are doing the thing where they're like, if only Jamal was good. And like, I know that he had a bad game 4. I called him out for a bad game 4. He was horrible, or not horrible. That's a little bit of a stretch, but like he was pretty bad.
He had 8 assists.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yes. But like again, it's playoffs. Like there's a different standard I think that's being applied. But like in the first 3 games, I thought he was pretty good in different ways in all of them, and just finding ways to be solid and contributing, especially in complementary ways, while Jokic is doing well, while Christian Brown is having his moments, while Aaron Gordon had 25 in game 1, things like that. So it's interesting, I think, to kind of see how this thing has evolved for him. This was the Jamal game. They needed at least one of those to win this series, and I'm glad that they got it here.
He's usually surly after he has great games, and he was just nonchalant tonight. That was like a little bit of a different form of it. The MO with Jamal and his pressers is if he has a terrible game, he's bubbly and kind of jokes about it and is like smiling and kind of laughing. If he has a great game, he's surly and mad and like, why would you ask that? What do you mean? And instead of this one, he was just like very nonchalant, like just competing, you know. It's a lot of fun to be out there.
He's doing his best to stay even keel in this presser, especially after a really massive game for him. If he has a normal good game, he will be surly. I will, unless they win the series, like in the next game, and then he'll be like, "I don't care. I had 6 points. I just it doesn't matter. They won."
All right. No, I think exactly. It doesn't matter because they won. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the series. I thought the Clippers were winning in 6. I thought they were winning this game, and they were taking care of it at home. And them getting just absolutely mollywopped tonight has kind of like shifted a little bit of my thing, because I'm running up against this thing of one, okay, well, they can hit back and win the series when the game 6 in a blowout, and then game 7s are usually what comes down to shot variance, and who knows, and like Kawhi can step up in that moment, but just like also Kawhi's numbers and Dime, to his credit, like said this. Shout out to him. And like the Clippers fans of the podcast I was listening to on the way home, same deal. They were all very critical of Kawhi Leonard for not taking over the game, as they should be. Because my thing is like, James Harden was terrible. 3 of 9, 11 points, 5 assists to 4 turnovers. James was terrible. You know what James also is? Older, on a lower contract, and not the best player on the team. You got Kawhi Leonard, and everyone wants Kawhi to buy into the Kawhi mythology. 20 points, 8 of 15, good. 20 points on 8 of 15 shooting is good. 11 assists. Didn't feel him at all in this game.
Yeah.
Did not put his imprint at all. on this game. There was not a moment in this game where I felt like Kawhi had this game under control or that he was impacting it. He was just out there getting numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do because, like, is it possible that Kawhi has like a game 7 4 bouncer moment like he did versus Philly? Absolutely. Like, that could happen. He can have a dominant game 6 and then like the game 7 that he had versus Philly and make another playoff moment for himself. That can happen. But I started the series and one of my questions was just like, who's your leader? Who's going to lead you? And I will say, like, the Nuggets, I do not know how we are here after we buried them again after game 3. But they're connected. Like, they are engaged with one another. They are, I know what this team looks like when it's emotionally connected, and they're emotionally connected. And the Clippers were just kind of there tonight. Like, they were just collecting a paycheck. And I don't know what that was about. But they were... I have seen this before, though, where one team comes out and they're so used to the games being a slog, and it's like you're in these like tight boxing matches and you think you're going to be working the body, and one team comes out and they're just dancing around and landing haymakers, and you don't know what to do, and all of a sudden you're on the mat. And that was really kind of what happened with Jamal's performance in this one.
Like he took the life out of them with some of these shots. And when you're a team, especially a veteran team like the Clippers are, and they've seen this before, they've seen what this looks like, they know that this is a game that they don't really have a great shot in winning. They put together a decent run in the fourth quarter, and then Jamal just kind of set the table again and put them to bed. He's like unbelievable game, and just one of those ones that reminds you just again that Denver is never dead when they have Jokic and Murray playing at Jokic and Murray peak levels. Like they can come up with ways. It doesn't take that much around what they're doing. And we should, on the other side, we should credit Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, especially.
Let's do that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game, man. Was that true tonight? Ball Arena was absolutely rocking. Terrific atmosphere at Ball Arena for a pivotal game 5. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena. And with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deal can save you up to 60%. I was arguing with people tonight. This Avs series is not over. It is not over. That team is live. I believe in this Avs team. I think they can come back and beat the Stars team. I do not think the Stars are this way better team. I do not believe that. You could be a part of that story as the Avs continue their playoff run. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets.
Game Time.
But we're back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. Let's talk about MPJ plus 34. That dude playing as hard as he is, making the shots that he is with one arm, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 14 points, 2 boards, a dime, a block, and a plus 34. I don't necessarily know. I will say I think most of the plus minus was largely a product of not being out there when things were bad.
Sure.
Than it was about, you know, it was like, oh, he was the secret.
It's not like his individual impact is all that's making it good, for example.
Right. And I don't know. I'll have to go back and see. Like, this is a thing I have to do on rewatch is like, all right, was it the spacing? Was it just like they were locking off? They were able to create more opportunity with the space on the side. Because one thing I thought that Jamal was really good at tonight was he was dipping in between those gaps in the coverage to get to when he's doing that. When he is snaking off of the pick and roll and slipping into those spots in the mid range, teams are just like, well, I have to let you shoot that. And you made it again. And you made it again. And you made it again. But I'm back on Jamal now. We do need to credit MPJ for playing as well and as making shots with one arm is insane. And for him to be playing this well through that shoulder sprain is tough as nails.
It's another great trait for this Denver team. They're resilient, and he has, like, I feel sometimes, and I've been critical of him, and I think like not necessarily doing great in terms of some of these adjustments. I don't always talk about and think about him when I'm thinking about Denver's identity. But that's wrong. Like flat out wrong. He has been with this team for 7 years. He's been on the court for five, 6 of them or so. And he has been tough as nails. Like, he had to learn how to do it over the course of multiple years in the NBA. But back in the championship run, it was one of his most important factors, was just learning how to play and be consistent in those times. And then he was not great against the T-Wolves in a very physical, very kind of rough and tumble series last year. And it's felt different this time around. Like, he's had bad games. I don't want to dismiss it. Game 1 wasn't good for him. Game 3 was not good for him. Game 2, he was solid. Game 4, he was pretty good. Game 5, he was pretty good. And the fact that you can point to 3 separate times where and more often than not, he has been a factor and a positive one in this series against a team that he should not be good against, frankly. Like, this is a good sign for Denver that if they're able to, like, knock on wood, if they are able to continue to do the thing, then, like, maybe he has more to give over the course of a potential playoff. So we will see what it comes down to, but just very happy for him to show what he can do in this moment, despite the fact that he's clearly not at his best. And like, it is just funny watching him run around with one arm. Like, he's just holding it at his side and catching the ball and like holding up, like, ready with one arm. And then the other is just like down here, just ready to go when he needs it to catch the ball.
160 offensive rating with Porter on the floor for 30.
Oh my
minutes.
God.
160. So for those of you listening that don't know, 120 is like, that's awesome. 100 is like, that is bad. 110 is okay, that was not good enough. 115 is like, all right, it's good enough to get you a playoff win. 120 is, hey, you did excellent. 160 is hotter than the sun. They were an inferno with him on the floor.
Insane. Like, yeah. I don't know if they've ever had a playoff game with that high of an offensive rating with anybody on the floor. That is bananas, man.
Yeah. With Jamal, it was 145 in 40 minutes. For 40 minutes of this basketball game, they had a 1.45 points per possession mark versus the number whatever defense in the league.
You might be onto something in terms of, like, was this them figuring stuff out? Was this them running hot? Was this them?
They're running out. They're running out of things that they can do defensively, because Harden on Joker was kind of their big thing tonight. Was, okay, Joker killed us, and I've seen this before in series where a team is like, okay, we're gonna try and do this and this thing and this thing. None of those worked on Joker. All right, let's get really outside the box and let's do this thing. And
can I give you my Galaxy Brain take?
Yeah.
I think that Joker, he didn't struggle on purpose. I don't think that he actively looked to solve that coverage tonight. I do not think that, like, I think he could sense that Denver was going to win this game just playing through Jamal and playing through other guys and allowing him to kind of be passive in these situations. I do not think that he actively went at that coverage in a way that he can go at it going forward and will go at in game 6.
I agree. I think I agree with that. I don't think that he was, because also, like, Joker's just never the guy that's like, okay, my turn now. Like, that's just not how he plays.
Let me prove this wrong. Let me prove that this.
I got to get mine. He's like, just not like that. No. I think that's true. I think Zoo played really good defense on him. I do think the Harden stuff, what was interesting is they were running a zone for a while there, and they also had Harden on him. And so that was gumming up the 2-man game.
Yeah.
And that late possession where Gordon basically got the dagger was, they were like, oh, okay, no problem. So we're going to run a stagger screen and we're just going to bring Aaron up.
Yeah.
And you can deal with that. And the Clippers were like, we had not anticipated this. Oh no. And that was really the end of the game. And so Aaron, by the way, has been terrific in the series. He is every single game. Who was it? It was Lucas Hahn was saying on his pod, he was like, Aaron Gordon has gone into every game in the series and decided that he's going to outwork whoever he's up against. What Clipper is going to do that? And that is like a really big question mark going into game 6. And I'm not going to get too high after getting too low on them in game 3. And I'm still staying on this side. Like, I get no credit for anything. It's like, I thought they were going to lose the series. I really did. I thought that the Clippers were better, and we're going to end everything that I have ever said about. I am like one of the few people that just thinks that Kawhi Leonard is a little overrated. Not like a lot. He's still awesome, but just like a little overrated. I got away from all of that. Now, again, Kawhi can deliver for them in 6 and 7, but that's what they're up against. And I do think that if they're going to try and run this coverage, because the biggest thing with, if you put Jamal on Jokic, I asked this Joker about this years ago. I was like, so what's kind of your approach when they switch and they put a small on you? And he was like, it's not really to back them down and dominate them. He's like, you just put them back in the pick and roll action because they don't know guards don't know how to defend as the screener. They don't know how to do that. And he's right. Because like a lot of times tonight, the Nuggets wound up with drop coverage versus Jamal Murray. Like,
and like drop coverage where like James Harden was the guy dropping and things like that. Yeah.
And just like, you're cooked. Like, you can't do that. And, maybe you can do that if Jamal's shooting 3 of 17 or whatever. Maybe you can do that. But it was a gamble that they took and they lost badly. And now going into this next game, Ty Lue's going to have to decide, like, okay, so I can't just let Jamal Murray do whatever, even though it shut down Joker, because everybody else killed us. Okay. So, like, what's the next deviation of that? What's the next one?
I bet they try the same thing to see if Jamal gets it going, and if he can't on the road, and there's a possibility that he can't. If he can't on the road, then they will probably continue it and just trust that the game plan was good and try to junk things up. The one thing that they did try against Jamal that clearly did not work tonight was there were times where every possession down the floor, he saw a new guy. It was Chris Dunn, it was Kawhi Leonard, it was Nick Batum, it was even Norman Powell, it was James Harden at times, it was everybody. And he saw a different defender every single time down the floor. And so I'm curious to see whether they try, like, it just feels a lot of the time like Ty Lue is just trying to mix it up every single possession to give Denver a different look every single time down so they can't get comfortable. And so maybe that's what it is. But I do think that Denver, like you said, they've seen everything now. There's not a lot that the Clippers can throw at them that is going to shock them. I think that Harden was probably the last kind of counter there. But we'll see. Like, who knows? Maybe they'll try some different crazy stuff.
I always say game 7 is just shot variants. They're always ugly. Game 6 is usually similar. You're kind of out of adjustments by game 6. There might be a few more that you can pull out. I think the last kind of thing I would say is I would expect them. They have not gone after Mike. They've gone after Jamal. And I wonder if the game 6 is going to be a big test for Michael with one arm to defend. But I don't know what to expect from Harden, Kawhi, and Ty Lue. I just don't right now. We'll see what happens.
Respect Christian Brown for the pull-up 3 at the end of the third quarter.
That was huge. I noticed that you may know that, and none of Russell Westbrook's shots. We will see you guys again next time. Tomorrow, we'll have more coverage of the Denver Nuggets and their pursuit of Game 6 and a first-round victory over the Clippers. Make sure to like, review, subscribe.
Thank you for 10K.
Thank you for 10K. We
amazing stuff for
so
you guys.
much to us. And we'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets. Hater.